Hello, I'm Regina Lay, the news editor of PumaPodcast, and you're listening to Teka Teka News. In today's episode,
57 pesos to 1 was a psychological rally or a psychological level. And it seems that if you hit 57, anything can go next. So probably it can be 57.05 tomorrow, 57.25, because we haven't seen the end of the movement of the US dollar.
that's right, $1 now buys 57 Philippine pesos. How did we get here? Exactly 2 years ago, in September 2020, the peso was sitting at 48.48 to the dollar. At that time, we were in the middle of yet another lockdown, so you didn't really feel the effects of a strong currency. Parang wala lang since we were all stuck at home. But now, in 2 short years, the peso has plumbed new depths. We're now at a new record low, and economists agree we're probably not even at the bottom yet. Here's economist Emmanuel Noel Leico. He is also president of the Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Maynila.
The interest rates in the US continues to go up. Inflation continues to be uncontrolled, and therefore the US continues to consider raising interest rates. And if that happens, the Philippine peso will continue to depreciate.
And that's really what it comes down to. The US Federal Reserve, which is their central bank. Basically, when interest rates rise in the US, the dollar becomes more attractive to investors. So they start dumping other currencies and start piling into the greenback again. And that's why, although the Philippine peso is one of the worst hit, it's not the only Asian currency that's suffering. In fact, even the mighty Japanese yen is also having its worst year on record. The problem with a weaker currency is that it affects us all, whether you realize it or not. Yes, not just those of you who like buying imported goods. Listen to our national statistician Dennis Mapa. He's the one who reports the inflation numbers every month.
Pag mataas yung dollars, may fuel tayo, so binibili natin yun ng, in terms of US dollars, so magkakaroon ng impact yon sa ating pump price dito.
And here's economist Noel Leico again.
The ordinary people will definitely feel the pain of depreciating peso. Why? Because we are almost importing everything, consumer goods, onions, garlic, fish. We import petroleum, and without price movements in the petroleum market, with the currency depreciation, the price of oil or the price of petroleum in the pump stations will definitely go up. Consumers will definitely feel that.
That's right. The Philippines is primarily an importing nation, and we pay in dollars for pretty much everything. So that's the other thing about a depreciating currency. There are no quick fixes. Earlier, I told you that the biggest reason the peso is falling is that the US central bank keeps raising their interest rates. So you may think, why can't we do the same? Won't that stem some of the capital outflows? Well, our own Banco Central has been doing it, but they can't match the pace in the US or Europe since there's still some weakness in our economy coming out of the pandemic. This year alone, the BSP has raised rates 4 times, and they have said they're ready to keep going if the Fed acts. Remember that interest rates affect nearly every facet of the financial system, from housing loans, auto loans, credit cards, and so on and so forth. Ultimately, that means we're looking at a slowdown sometime next year. Here's Nikki Mapa, the chief economist at Dutch Bank ING, in an interview on One News.
Because the BSP is hiking very aggressively. People expect that, rate hikes are going to immediately slow down the economy. No, it doesn't work that way. And rate hikes don't just affect credit cards. It affects new loans, which affect capabilities down the road. So if you start hiking aggressively now, you're going to start to feel the effects early next year or mid next year. It shows that, the BSP will have to do more to really match the type of demand out there so that the supply and demand come into equilibrium.
So, should we hit the panic button now? Marikina Representative Stella Kimbo, who is one of the most respected economists in Congress, says not quite.
Well, bottom line naman is, ang sa akin, pagtiwalaan natin ang ating BSP. Mahusay ang ating mga economic managers. Ang ating BSP ay merong sapat na tools, particularly yung policy rate. Kung tawagin, ibig sabihin na-adjust naman nila yung interest rate. And at the same time, meron po tayong sapat na dollar reserves. Nang sa ganon, kung kailangan mag-intervene sa foreign exchange market, ay kaya din nilang gawin. So may sapat na tools.
And that was today's episode of Teka Teka. Again, I'm Regina Lay, the news editor of Teka Teka. This episode was produced by Kat Ventura and edited by Presh Capistrano. If you liked today's episode, share it with a friend or two. And of course, follow Teka Teka and PumaPodcast wherever you get your podcasts. We're excited to build our community with you, and it looks like we'll be able to meet for events real soon. So if you want to stay in the loop, please go to PumaPodcast.com and subscribe to our newsletter. Thanks for listening.